start. We'll see Josh Smith early.
It'll be Marquise Morris jumping it up against Tyler Honeycutt. Kansas in the white, UCLA in the blue. And Reed controls its Kansas basketball.
Traditional Kansas offense. They'll look to go high-low early and then mix some pick and roll in as well.
Taylor feeds down low. Marquise Morris.
Marcus Morris is the leading scorer, but Marquise Morris, John, is a workhorse inside. Doesn't get all the credit that his brother does. Together they are terrific.
Kansas trying to make it 64 in a row at home. Longest active streak in college basketball. Zeke Jones gets into the paint. And Nelson, tough player underneath. And Morris to Morris as Marcus saves it to Marquise and they push it ahead. Taylor to the rim. And Lane the board.
Team has wanted to play more up-tempo this season.
Great hustle by Taylor. Marcus Morris ahead to the rim, and he'll shoot two. Ben Howland, his 8th season. Of course, took him to 3 straight Final Fours in a tough year last year. This may be the youngest team he's ever coached. No seniors on the team.
At the line for the Jayhawks, number 22, Marcus Morris. Shooting 2.
So Marcus Morris at the line. See on the Naismith preseason watch list. Fran, he could be the best player in the Big 12 this year.
Well, he's still playing like it, John. He had a terrific summer playing for the USA Select team. He was at the LeBron James Skills Academy. And he has put himself on the map with every NBA team.
Kansas early on this year has struggled from the free throw line. That is something that bears watching this game. Jayhawks out to the early 3-0 lead. Nelson is double teamed as he dribbles out. Offensive foul on Honeycutt on the baseline.
Good job by Marcus Morris on the rotation. Anytime you skip it and it's a long closeout, it's going to invite a drive. And watch Morris step in. He got his chest on the ball and an easy call.
Fran, talk a little bit about the way Kansas runs its offense.
Well, this is the perfect high-low team, John, because both Morris twins are skilled inside and out. And their guards are very good at utilizing pick and roll as well. Healthy dose of both, and the unselfishness makes it pay off.
Zeke Jones fouled there by Marcus Morris, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. Well, Bill Self, like Ben Howland in his 8th season, since he began in 03, no school in the NCAA has had a better record. Of course, the NCAA title in 08.
Well, the amazing thing is 6 straight Big 12 championships. I like this young man, John. He's a junior college player. You don't see that much at UCLA. You have to go back to Jack Haley in the late 80s. Contribution he made for UCLA, but this young man played at Simeon High School in Chicago with Derrick Rose, was not a starter as a senior, but the second leading scorer. Went to junior college, and it's all paid off as he's joined this Bruin team with a solid point guard.
Marquise Morris tries that jump hook. It's short. Look at Morningstar flying in for the board. Underneath, and they'll say it's Kansas basketball.
Well, if nobody deflected, it'll be UCLA ball. And Tom O'Neill helping out on that call. And Tom O'Neill trying to explain that to Bill Self right now.
Kansas just 1 for 4 from the floor to start. Honeycutt being harassed, the cutting Lee rolls it home.
Good look by Honeycutt. Malcolm Leah Jr. now. He is very, very important for UCLA. They need a go-to scorer. ball stoppers. The ball moves quickly and easily.
Lane tries to answer in camp. The Jayhawks the other way. Reed another.
Now, there's nothing better than a player that looks up the floor, passes ahead to his teammate, but that time the unselfishness was compounded by the extra pass.
Bill Self talks about he doesn't like the ball to stick. Honeycutt to the rim. And scooping up the rebound, Markieff Morris. Markieff with his third board, and the Jayhawks will slow it down.
When you talk about some of the skilled players in the country, you certainly have to start with Kyle Singler, but Marcus Morris is not far behind.
Underneath Markieff Morris. The board and the foul, and he'll go to the line.
Marcus averages 19. Markieff, all he does, I mentioned earlier, he loves to do the dirty work. Of course, he's the younger brother, so he defers to his older brother.
Now, for all the attention that Marcus gets, would you make the argument that Markieff is the better rebounder?
I think he is, because Marcus spends a little bit more time on the perimeter, John. And of course, he's shooting over 60% from three. Markieff knows, and that's why the high-low is so good, because these guys are interchangeable both inside and out. Couldn't ask for better high-low players in Bill Self's offense than these two guys. You know, when Cole Aldridge is out there, as good as he was, you did not have to guard him at the top of the key.
Markieff off to the good start with 5 points, 4 boards, and you saw the big game last year in the 73-61 win out at UCLA. And UCLA calls timeout. Kansas off to the fast start. They lead at 12-4 here in Lawrence. Smith, top recruit for Ben Howland, into the game. Ironically, Smith started on the bench because he's gotten into so much foul trouble. So Brendan Lane starts and picks up 2 quick fouls.
Well, at least it wasn't Josh Smith. And in fact, in that sense, the strategy pays off, because those fouls, John, could have easily been on the young big guy. This is danger time right now for UCLA, because they need to stay in this ball game. Whenever I took a team on the road in this environment, we always talked about playing timeout to timeout. Just play 4-minute games.
Smith, his first touch, and rattles it home.
Boy, he's so strong, so quick off his feet, and that time he pulled through a double team. This is a young man that's dropped 40 pounds since June when he arrived on campus.
Break in the action. Kansas on top here at home, leading it by 6.
ESPN's exclusive.
Ryan, thanks. And Kansas, of course, going for its 64th in a row here at Allen Fieldhouse. And Tyrell Reed and Markieff Morris both off to good starts.
Well, it's interesting. There's not a player on this team except Brady Morningstar. And he redshirted that year, 2007, the last time Kansas lost at home. It was a game. A&M came in and beat him with AC Law, Billy Gillespie, the coach. Big timeout. You can get a set play here in a basket, boy. It'll break at least some momentum.
Look at that defense. Honeycutt now goes to the rim, and he gets hammered there by Thomas Robinson, his first.
Honeycutt and Malcolm Lee, John, they'll play the perimeter this year. Reeves and Smith inside. Honeycutt is a guy that can be a 16, 17-point scorer every night. He can shoot the ball from outside. You saw his ability to get the rim, that quick first step. I think he needs to get a little bit tougher in terms of taking it to the rim, but that last drive on Thomas Robinson was a good indication that he's capable of doing that.
Zeke Jones sits, so they bring in Jeremy Anderson. Honeycutt rattles home the second. Tyshawn Taylor handling. Bill Self's been happy with his performance early on.
He's played very, very well. Maturity, backdoor cut.
First two for Brady Morningstar, and they continue to move the basketball very well.
Bill Self was raving about his team's unselfishness today.
Oh, nice touch by Lee, and had some contact. He's got 4.
Well, that's a big basket. Malcolm Lee, now a junior, a top 50 player, probably hasn't met Bruin fans' expectations, but he's capable of being a guy that can take the heat off of Ben Howland's inside players.
Rebound yanked down by Honeycutt. Kicks ahead to Lee. Now Nelson. He had it stripped away, but he'll go to the line and shoot 2. ESPN, the home court of college hoops, Saturday afternoon, 3:15 Eastern. Catch a rematch of last year's national title game as Butler takes another shot at number 1 Duke. 5:15 Eastern. It's 21st ranked Illinois taking on 24th ranked Gonzaga. Pair of good ones right there.
See some really good guards in that doubleheader. Dimitri McCamey is as good a passer as there is in college basketball, John. Of course, Kyrie Irving last night, absolutely brilliant. Had a chance to see him last June playing for Team USA, and I hate to be old school, but he reminds me of Isaiah Thomas when Isaiah was at Indiana.
Lane violation, and Nelson will get a chance to do it again. That was on Markieff Morris, and Nelson drills it. Oh, that's from deep. Reed is feeling it, his 3rd 3, and he's got 9.
Tyrell Reed was 8 for 28 from the field, from behind the arc. Bill Self told him when they got back from Arizona, you shoot the ball when you're open. I have no question that the ball will start dropping. You think he knows what he's doing?
All 3 of his looks have been wide open. Honeycutt, catch and shoot.
That's beautiful. Excellent execution. Perfect screen. And a great delivery of that ball. So Honeycutt caught the ball in his shooting pocket.
So Honeycutt with the 3 and UCLA within 3. Markieff Morris backing down. High off the window, and Smith the board. Honeycutt up ahead. Rolls it in and 1. Great body control by Tyler Honeycutt.
Ben Howland before the season said his team was going to need to run to create some easy baskets. Wasn't sure that he had a half-court type of point guard. And the best way to create easy baskets is to get out and get your big guys on the move. That's perfect.
They get the foul on Markieff Morris. That is his first. And team foul number 4 on Kansas. So Honeycutt off to a good start. And tracks down the rebound. Oh, point blank reverse, but Smith there to clean it up.
How about
and UCLA the lead.
Isn't that a great move that Ben Howland made, not starting the freshman? Doesn't pick up any early fouls, and now he's in a nice rhythm.
Bruins out competing very hard. Foul on Nelson. Well, for Kansas, one of the things they do well, share the ball. They play unselfishly.
Well, they do, and UCLA has done a similarly terrific job early in this game, John. And I always felt the 3 most unselfish plays in basketball, swinging the ball, also getting it, screening for a teammate to get him open, and always have your head up in transition. Early in this game, UCLA's guards have done a terrific job of looking ahead.
Last bucket by Tyrell Reed, and he has been the beneficiary of some unselfish play by Kansas, and we'll examine those 3 plays as the game goes on. Lamb pulls up and hits. It's a 2.
John, that's a big basket for the freshman. Now, that wasn't a 3. But he had missed his last 10 threes. He's a young man with a lot of talent.
Good save by Johnson. Honeycutt rips down the board. UCLA looking to add to a 1-point lead.
UCLA has weathered the early storm. We talked about playing 4-minute games, and they've done a great job in this 4 minutes.
Anderson used the ball fake. Tell you that UCLA offense has been very efficient. Dollars in cancer research grants nationwide, and if you'd like to donate, log on jimmyv.org, or you can call 1-800-4JIMMY-V. And again, that's a way to donate.
Well, nobody, Dick Vitale, nobody does more than Dick for the foundation. Every May in Bradenton, he has the gala, and it is an unbelievable event with all the celebrities and basketball people, baseball people, Hollywood actors. Get involved with that if you're in South Florida. It's a great event to come in from anywhere in the country.
That last foul on Brendan Lane, that is his third. Let's talk about Ben Howland for a second, doing a good job keeping his team in the game. And you mentioned those little kind of segments, those 4-minute games.
That's right. When you come in and you play number 4 in the country and you know about the win streak, John, I was lucky as a coach. We stopped a win streak at Arizona when it was 54 games and one at UConn when it was 54. And what you want to do as a coach is you want your kids not to think of the 40 minutes, but let's just get through the next 4 minutes. And the closer we hang around, the more pressure goes to the home team.
Taylor a steal and then had it knocked away.
Someone's got to come to
Oh,
it.
nobody was there.
It's the hustle drill.
Little, an offensive rebound and a putback.
Anytime we finish practice, we always worked on what we call the hustle drill. Man's going out of bounds, 4 guys run to the ball, and they're yelling, Reeves, Reeves. He had no one to throw it to.
First tie of the game. Kansas really stepping up the defensive pressure now. Lee looking for help. And a travel. Well, Fran, for all the talk about Kansas's offense, they have always, under Bill Self, been a very good defensive team.
One of the things Bill Self told me this summer is that we don't have the rim protector of a Cole Aldrich, but we're so athletic and quick from 1 to 5 that they're going to do a lot of switching and more pressure of the ball.
How about Taylor? I mean, just knifing through, and he's got 3. Kansas by a deuce. Timeout UCLA. Well, action continues Tuesday night from the Jimmy V Classic. It's presented by Corona Extra. Madison Square Garden, 7 Eastern. It's 15th ranked Memphis taking on these Jayhawks. Then at 9 Eastern, Kalen Lucas and Michigan State go up against 7th ranked Syracuse. Both games also available online at ESPN3.com.
Well, John, when we ended practice every day of my career, we worked on what we call the hustle drill. And when the ball is going out of bounds, like right here, you've got to have some guys come to the basketball and bail out your teammate. And nobody from UCLA reacted to Reeves Nelson's hustle.
Taylor and the Jayhawks doing a good job taking defense and turning it into offense. And UCLA ball down a bucket. Closing in on the 10-minute mark. Allen Fieldhouse, John Shelby, Fran Fraschilla. 2 of the top programs in the history of college basketball. Honeycutt thought about refeeding the post. Jones lost the handle, and now Morningstar a steal. Reed wide open again.
Oh, he had Reeves.
Just a little too late, and Morris the steal. He waited an extra second
He
too
sure
long.
did. Jones waited 2 dribbles too late, but Nelson has done a good job tonight of really running the floor.
That last foul on Zeke Jones. UCLA now with 7 turnovers.
We talked about the great point guards Ben Howland has had. Collison, Farmar, Drew Holiday, Russell Westbrook. They don't have that level of player so it's actually easier sometimes for your guards to make decisions in transition.
Great cut, Marcus Morris, and a nice feed. One of the things the Morris twins do so well is pass the ball.
Well, they are really skilled. We talk about their versatility. Bill Self told us today he thinks Marcus Morris is going to be an NBA shooting guard. Oh, that's nice.
That is toughness from Reeves Nelson.
He reduced his body fat to 5%. He's got 10 dunks on the season. He's become a more explosive player. Kind of reminds me of a right-handed David Lee who played for Billy Donovan.
Tyshawn Taylor drills a three. 6 for Taylor, the junior from New Jersey.
Well, when you look at the twins and you look at Taylor, the juniors, they went through some bumpy times as rookies here at Kansas, and their toughness and maturity is really paying off.
Smith gets his own miss, shot blocked, but a foul. They get Markieff Morris, that's his second.
If there's a Kansas Achilles heel, particularly on the defensive end, is that they don't have that rim protector like Cole Aldridge that can defend a guy like Smith.
Folks, help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. Log on jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate. Kansas on a 10-3 run since that under 12 timeout. UCLA within 4. And they get the bump there on Reeves Nelson. Team foul number 7, so it'll be 1 and 1.
If you're Reeves Nelson, you've got to know what your team's situation is as far as the bonus. That was a good hedge, but he hedged a half step too long. And when he made contact, it allows a great free throw shooter to walk to the line. You've got to know that.
Reed looks the first. He's got a game-high dozen.
Tyrell Reed was very instrumental in Kansas's comeback against Arizona this weekend. Kansas led big early. Sean Miller's team came back on the shoulders of Derek Williams, one of the best big guys in college basketball. Bill Self liked how his team responded. Tyrell Reed was a big part of that comeback.
It's always fun when coaches early in the year, they're anxious to see what happens when their team gets punched in the nose for the first time. Bill Self liked the way his team responded.
Well, that's exactly true. You want to see some adversity early because you're going to have it later on.
Screen up top as Morris popped out. Honeycutt. And one. Tyler Honeycutt, how about that?
Well, Honeycutt's kept this Bruin team in, but it's been good ball movement, good passing. Boy, Tyler Honeycutt, he can score the ball.
Gout's root cause is high uric acid. If you have gout, high uric acid can lead to more attacks. To help reduce attacks, lower your uric acid. Uloric lowers uric acid levels in adults with gout. It's not for the treatment of high uric acid without a history of gout. Uloric reduces uric acid to help you reach a healthy level.
Don't take Uloric if you are taking azathioprine, mercaptopurine, or theophylline. Gout may flare when starting Uloric. Don't stop taking it. Your doctor may give you other medicines to help prevent flares. A small number of heart attacks, strokes, and heart-related deaths were seen in studies. It's not certain Uloric caused them. Certain tests to check liver function may be required. Tell your doctor about liver or kidney problems or history of heart disease or stroke. The most common side effects are liver problems, nausea, gout flares, joint pain, and rash.
If you have gout, ask your doctor about Uloric.
What does Pro Bowler Josh Cribbs and a fathead have in common?
Ain't nothing common about me.
They're both big, bold, and can light up a room. Just like Josh, a fathead can change the look of everything in one big move, transforming any ordinary room into the ultimate fan cave.
You ain't know? I'm a fathead.
And with over 1,000 fatheads, we've got you covered no matter what your favorite sport or team is. Go to fathead.com to order yours today.
Come and get me. Fathead.com.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws.
Can driving a brand new Hyundai Sonata put you in the holiday spirit? Or do the holidays make it more fun to drive the Sonata? Now during Hyundai holidays, you can lease the 2011 Sonata for just $199 a month. From everyone at Hyundai, have a safe and happy holiday.
Well, back here in Lawrence, and a look at the Hall of Fame at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Number 4, Kansas leading by 3. They've done some great work on this facility, and it's a magnificent place to come to watch a game.
It's a shrine, John. It's the St. Patrick's Cathedral of college basketball arena, certainly up there with Cameron Indoor Stadium. And hey, they're knocking down Mac Court soon. Oregon will move into their brand new arena, but you talk about great facilities. I like this place. I love the Palestra in Philadelphia because I love those pretzels. And Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Now, I believe Cameron Indoor Stadium is actually built loosely off a model of the Palestra.
Well, the Palestra, I believe, is the oldest arena still. It's in the top 3. It was built around the mid-1920s.
Honeycutt with 10 and trying for the 4-point play. Tyler Honeycutt, sophomore out of Los Angeles, hits that. And UCLA within 2. And UCLA trying to end that home win streak by the Jayhawks. That one got away from Morris. Anderson came away with it, and then he traveled.
Well, he traveled, but I think he got fouled from behind, and that's what he's telling Tom O'Neill. There's a reason he traveled, I think. He kind of got a little nudge from behind. Tried to make his case, came up empty.
Morningstar, oh, nice spin. Brady Morningstar with 4 points, and a little guy wandering down amongst the trees.
He's not going to post up very much, but he found himself open on the little slip screen.
And again, little, you're talking about a guard. He is 6'4". And they get an offensive foul underneath. Anthony Stover charged with that foul, his first. Fran, we look at this Kansas offense, and as efficient as it has been, in a little bit, they're going to get some help from that young man, Josh Selby.
Well, they sure will. One of the top players in the high school basketball a year ago, serving a NCAA imposed suspension, 9 games. Everybody in the state of Kansas is familiar with the date, December 18th. As he will put on a Jayhawk uniform in a game versus Southern California.
Anderson backs it out. UCLA's turned it over 9 times.
Now they had the big guy. It's one thing that I think they're going to have to do a better job of during the season. Get the ball into Smith. Anytime he gets it that deep, John, and that's why.
And Smith will go to the line and shoot 2. We talked about Josh Selby. And here's what took place. Commits to Kansas in the middle of April, then his eligibility unclear in August. Cleared by the NCAA to attend class, and then the suspension comes down. And really, why does all this matter? Well, he's the Big 12 preseason freshman of the year. Now, improper benefits is essentially what was the charge. The benefits including clothes, transportation, meals, and lodging for Selby and his family at a grand total a little over $4,600. Now, the money, according to Bill Self, is going to come out of Selby's scholarship check each month, and it'll be donated to a charity of his choice. And again, he sits out those 9 games, and he'll be eligible to play December 18th against USC.
Now, I've had a chance to coach this young man at the LeBron James Skills Academy, and he is a great competitor. He is a scoring point guard, and he's the one guy that can get himself into the lane that I don't know. Tyshawn Taylor does a good job of it now, but he will make them better. The big thing, John, and we talked about with this team today, he knows he doesn't have to come in and hit grand slams with this team, just a lot of singles and doubles.
Oh, they get the travel. Great job by Little contesting the shot from Reeves Nelson. That's the 10th turnover on UCLA.
Now, you love the fact that Reeves Nelson needs to shoot that ball. I was really surprised. He didn't. You got to take it to the defender's body when you get that close to the basket.
Jeff Wibby is checked in, 7-footer, and they get the bump on the floor. Josh Selby, one of the top recruits in the country, and McDonald's All-America, big-time dunker, explosive talent, and he not only can score, but he gets others involved.
Well, that's exactly right. He's a scoring point guard. He's strong, athletic, creates his own shot. Big thing is, and he'll do this, I've seen him in practice, is going to be his ability to create for his teammates, because as we've chronicled, John, this is a very unselfish Kansas basketball team.
All right, so what about the chemistry? Bill Self usually plays about 9. How will it affect the team?
Well, he will be in the top 9. I can tell you that.
Okay.
But in talking to his teammates today, and I had a really good talk with Brady Morningstar, you know, he told me, I said, how good is he? He said, Coach, he's really good, but more importantly, he's a great teammate. Even though he hasn't been on the floor in a game yet, the players really love him, and they understand that he's going to make the team better.
Selby's got that Baltimore toughness that he'll bring to the table. Kansas by 6, Stover. Oh, man, underneath. Honeycutt with the tip into the Stover miss, and Honeycutt with 13.
Remember that comparison to Tayshaun Prince? Looks pretty good right now, doesn't it? Tyler Honeycutt.
Very similar type body. Good rebound, strong by Reeves Nelson.
Well, you're seeing a UCLA team coming off that disappointing year a year ago. This is a young team. Look at that.
Oh, and the flush. Tyler Honeycutt coming out, absorbs the contact, and he'll go to the line.
John, TV timeout to TV timeout. You just want to hang around when you go on the road in a place like this. And don't think that the Bruins aren't gaining confidence from this first 15 minutes.
Tyler Honeycutt has been outstanding early on. A chance to get the Bruins within 1 with the free throw. ESPN, the home court of college hoops, Saturday afternoon, 3:15 Eastern. It will be a rematch of last year's national title game. Butler will take another shot at Kyle Singler and #1 ranked Duke. Then 5:15 Eastern, it's 21st ranked Illinois taking on Stephen Gray and 24th ranked Gonzaga. All right, Fran Fraschilla, you talk about Duke. Everybody at the beginning of the year is mentioning Kyle Singler, but Kyrie Irving, last night, kind of a coming out party.
Well, you know, it was a coming out party. You know he's not going to get 31 every night, but it's kind of like I talked about with Josh Selby. When you play on a great team, you're going to hit the occasional grand slam, and last night was a grand slam. But Kyrie Irving is going to have games this year where he gets 11 points and 7 assists because he doesn't have to do it all. He's got such good support around him. But there are going to be nights when the lights come on that young man is going to show everybody how good he is. And I mentioned that comparison to Isaiah Thomas, a Hall of Famer. And his buddy Josh Selby was telling me today about how good Kyrie Irving is, by the way. But Isaiah Thomas had the ability to score when he wanted, but he always looked for his teammates first. And that's what I love about Kyrie Irving.
Tyler Honeycutt, 15 big points. And Kansas leading by 1. In and out for Elijah Johnson.
See, why not establish the big guy? You got Withy on him. There it is. Yep.
Smith with a big flush right there, and UCLA back on top.
Ben Howland's decision not to start Josh Smith because he was foul prone has really paid off. You know why? Brendan Lane, who started, was the sacrificial lamb, John, in picking up those 2 fouls.
They get Jeff Withey with that foul.
See, right now, if I were Ben Howland, I'd try to get something where I can establish Josh Smith inside.
Relaford on Honeycutt in the corner. Jones going to work from deep. Oh, wow. Zeke Jones buries a triple, and UCLA is on top by 4. Relaford can't answer, and look at Smith yanked down the board.
UCLA does not mind pushing the pace.
Just missed rolling in for Jones, and now they get the foul on Lazarick Jones.
Now, Tyler Honeycutt has carried the load for the Bruins, but the big fella Joshua Smith, the only McDonald's All-American coming to the Pac-10 this year. They really have, and we talked about playing timeout to timeout when you're a team on the road. And what you like about this, John, is UCLA has answered Kansas's runs and answered them emphatically.
Yeah, those many 4-minute games that you were breaking down. We documented Kansas early season struggles from the free throw line.
Spent some time with Ben Howland in New York last week at the NIT, John, and remember, he was raving about the Ware twins, Travis and David, the North Carolina transfers, played at Model Day High School with Tyler Lamb, and they're practicing right now. They'll be 6'11" sophomores next year. So this is a young UCLA program at the moment.
Roy Williams said he was absolutely shocked that the Ware twins transferred away from North Carolina. We close in on the 3-minute mark here at Allen Fieldhouse. Lee pulls and can't hit the 3. Stover is charged with over the back of the shove, his second. Double bonus time, and so Mario Little will go to the line and shoot 2. Little, who redshirt last year. And the spot that he kind of fits in, Fran, it's interesting. He's 6'6", and he'll play at about 215 pounds, an undersized power forward.
Well, if you asked him, he'd tell you he's a 3-man, maybe even a shooting guard, but he is, I think, in Bill Self's system, that undersized power forward. And that's important because it's going to be either him or Withey as that 4th big man in their 9-man rotation. And that will change from night to night. Withey gives him the length inside, the shot blocker at the rim. Little, the mismatch. And right now you see Josh Smith trying to guard Little.
Good cut to the hoop. Robinson and his first 2 of the game.
That would normally not happen with a Ben Howland coach team that had a lot of experience. Scoring on an inbound play is anathema to that man.
3rd tie of the game. It's a very young UCLA team. Not a senior among them. And a travel. 11 turnovers on the Bruins.
All this is a little back screen, and the man guarding the inbounder should always protect the rim. And you see that time Laz Jones was jumping around trying to get a deflection when all he needed to do was get between the inbounder and the metal on that orange part of the rim. Just all you're doing is being a hockey goalie in that situation.
Relaford dancing around Smith and then loses the handle. Robinson and Stover fight for it. Possession arrow favors Kansas.
If you're UCLA right now, you've weathered the storm another for 18 minutes. You really have to be solid in terms of solid defense and taking care of the basketball and getting some good shots in the final 2 minutes. They've played too well to let Kansas go on a 6-8-0 run right now.
There's the lob. Robinson couldn't finish, and Little does and one.
Well, they run the back screen. Probably Kansas's best passer, Brady Morningstar, with the delivery. And just a good hustle play by Mario Little.
That last foul on Jeremy Anderson, his first.
You know, John, when you look at Little, he was a National JUCO Player of the Year. How many guys with redshirt would sit out a year, give up a whole year of basketball to wait their turn? Bill Self is as good as anybody in the country at managing egos. He coaches great players as well as anybody outside of Mike Krzyzewski.
Smith, shot block, misses, fighting for the offensive rebound. Look at this battle.
I'll tell you what, Josh Smith, you got to give this young man credit. He's still not in top shape. He came to UCLA in June. Wes Long, their strength coach, former Todd Wright protege at Texas. He has done a great job with this young guy. That was a great effort.
Robinson pulls down the rebound. Kansas by 3. Tyrell Reed back in for the Jayhawks. He's had a big first half, leads him with 15.
There's that high-low offense.
Nine of the shot clock. Little will launch.
John, that whole possession, I thought of Josh Selby, because for 30 seconds you saw Kansas unable to get into the lane off the dribble. And that's where that young man will improve this team. He'll create shots on his own without a set play.
When the play breaks down, how do you get off?
That's exactly right. It's a Chuck Dalyism. What will you do when the play breaks down? Because the play will break down.
Anderson steals it right back. Oh, in and out for Honeycutt. Josh Selby looking on. December 18th will be his debut for the Jayhawks.
Did you see that look? He wants to be out there right now. See, this is Selby time right here, because like Sharon Collins, you could give him the ball, create some space, and he'll find a way to make a play for himself or his teammates. Let's see if Elijah Johnson can do that. No.
Tommy O'Neill's going to say Lamb touched it out of bounds, and now, nope, now they're going to say the other way. It'll be UCLA basketball, 3.8 to go.
Now, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. You should work on this in practice. If they get a clean inbounds play right now, Jeremy Anderson will have 4 dribbles.
Anderson.
There it is.
Oh.
That's okay.
Kansas will take a 3-point lead to the break. Star Watch update. Nelson and Morris relatively quiet. Tyrell Reed, 15 points for the Jayhawks.
Remember, to start this second half, Taylor and the Twins have 2 fouls each. Josh Smith starting, John. He has no fouls in 14 minutes. The longest stretch he's gone this year.
Oh, nice work inside Reeves Nelson.
Well, Ben Howland did not forget how to coach last year. That was a great set play to start the second half. Excellent execution.
Good lob inside, and immediately Markieff Morris with the bucket. And he's got 7.
That's one of the rare baskets tonight for Kansas in their high-low. Good look.
Nelson a three. Tyshawn Taylor tracks it down, and here come the Jayhawks. And that pass a bit too far from Marcus Morris.
We talked about UCLA trying to stay in this game, TV timeout to TV timeout. When you're supposed to win the game, you try to blow your opponent out with 6- and 8-point plays, and that's not how the game works. You've got to be a possession-by-possession team on both ends of the floor if you're Kansas right now.
Honeycutt catch and shoot, and a chance at another 4-point play.
That was all offensive execution on the first part of this play. Great screening. And then Tyler Honeycutt with the quick trigger. But this is a great pass. Watch the pass into the shooting pocket by Reeves Nelson. That's perfect. A little thing set up Honeycutt's ability to catch and shoot it quickly.
Last foul on Brady Morningstar, his second. And now 20 for Tyler Honeycutt. Came in averaging 15 a game, and they get Honeycutt with the foul. And that's his second.
Now, this is a much better UCLA team than the team that lost to Villanova and VCU in New York over the weekend.
What's different about them?
Well, they had 3 great days of practice, Ben Howland told me, where they really concentrated on going back to the little things. He said, we didn't worry about what Kansas was running. We needed to get better at what we do, and that's been a big example tonight. They look like some of Ben Howland's UCLA teams that have been so successful.
Nelson feet underneath. Lee cut, couldn't finish. Kansas down a point. Marcus Morris hasn't really gotten loose yet in this one, and he's fouled. They get Malcolm Lee with that foul. What about Marcus Morris? What do they have to do to get him more involved?
I think the first thing is he only played 11 minutes in the first half because he had those 2 fouls. So that put him on the bench for a sizable period of time. What they need to do is continue to get the ball moving from side to side in the high-low offense, because UCLA, very good scout report team, they took away the first couple of sides in terms of the pass inside. So patience, ball movement, and allow him to work his man up the lane.
Second straight game Marcus Morris has been bothered by foul trouble against Arizona. It was the same story. Nelson, and a tip away to Smith. Soft touch and gets it to go.
Well, Josh Smith, he told Nelson, my bad on the pass. He threw it as Reeves was cutting, but you saw the nimbleness of the big guy that goes over 300.
Marcus Morris can't hit. Zeke Jones the other way. Jones trying to break down Morningstar, and the block. And they'll say goaltending.
Zeke Jones brings you that Chicago toughness. What you love about this kid, nobody recruited him when he was in high school. He went to junior college, passed on a couple of mid-major opportunities, living the dream as UCLA's point guard, and coming out of nowhere.
Tyshawn Taylor bumped by Jones. And that's number 3 on Lazarick Jones. And immediately Ben Howland is going to go to the bench and bring in Jeremy Anderson. Tyshawn Taylor at the line. Taylor comes out of that fabled program in Jersey City St. Anthony's, where his coach was Bob Hurley Sr. As Jones will take a seat. Taylor had a tough sophomore year last year. Of course, the fight with the football player and the comments on Facebook.
And the Twins had some issues as freshmen, and that's what you love about these guys. These are very mature juniors who have bought into Kansas basketball.
Could you imagine when you were coaching if somebody had said, your team's going to have some Facebook problems? Jeremy Anderson can't hit, and Smith underneath charged with the foul. Josh Smith, the push-off.
Yeah, I don't like that call. That was a foul. He got penalized for being big right there. The only reason he committed that foul was because he's just so strong. He nudged Morris out of the way, and he's asking the official, what'd I do? It happens more in high school, John, where referees penalize a guy simply for being big.
Josh Smith at 6'10", 305 pounds, and he's lost about 50 pounds. Lob inside. Marquise Morris couldn't convert. Anderson getting into the paint, uses the left hand. Biggest lead of the game for UCLA.
Jeremy Anderson has been a nice catalyst. Good luck.
And Marquise Morris right back to the other end. He's got 9.
You always love when your point guards put their eyes on the other rim because they can see the whole floor. And that was a good job by Tyson Taylor.
Here at 5-gallon Fieldhouse, Kansas riding a 63-game home win streak. Feed into Smith. Blocked there by Marcus Morris. Blocked again, but he's fouled. Timeout on the court. Bill Self's team down fat.
Well, you got to love this kid now. He's been in foul trouble early in the year. Ben Howland did not start him tonight, did not want to sacrifice him and get him in foul trouble early. In 18 minutes, only 1 foul, John. And he has been a dominant force, particularly on the backboards.
Only 1 for 5 from the line, though, so far.
You know what you love about this kid? You look at the UCLA statistics, the pregame notes. He's taken 4 charges this year as well. So he gets himself in foul trouble, but oftentimes errors of commission. Love the fact that he'll use his body and help his team.
Misses both, however. UCLA still leading it by 4. See where Kansas goes here. Oh, Smith jumped out.
I don't like that. I just don't like that. That's again a penalty. That's a foul for being big. I think he was established. He did a good job of showing. His feet were planted. See, he got that foul because he's 6'10", 300 pounds.
That's the 15th foul on UCLA. And we're barely 4 minutes into the second half.
Good job. Credit Kansas for attacking the big guy on the show on the ball screen. But I didn't like that call.
Reed puts it on the floor and feeds Marcus Morris. He's got Reeves Nelson on him. And uses the height and knocks it down.
Foul trouble limited what we saw of Morris in the first half. Got a chance to see some of that versatility.
Reeves Nelson with the ball. He's been relatively quiet in the game. Came in as their leading scorer. Fans wanted to travel. Jeremy Anderson will back it out. Remember, Zeke Jones on the bench with 3 fouls. 7 on the shot clock. Lane couldn't hit left-handed. Taylor, the floater will go.
Nothing more unselfish in basketball than a guard who will pass ahead. Brady Morningstar, perfect example right there.
Tyshawn Taylor with the 8 points. Anderson puts it on the floor, has it taken away. Marcus Morris ahead, Tyrell Reed. They're tied up. I would say LeBron is enjoying himself in Cleveland. Back in the game is Zeke Jones. There's Josh Smith who's back in. A rebound and a foul.
Well, this is good coaching. Ben Howland knows if he plays without Smith and Jones, even though they're in foul trouble, that he could get blown out. So he's elected to go back with Smith with 2 fouls, Jones with 3.
That last foul on Tyrell Reed, it's his first. Josh Smith struggling from the line tonight, despite the fact that he's had a very good game. Smith with 10 points. Ben Howland able to grab this big recruit, even though he played his high school basketball just outside Seattle.
No, you're right. Lorenzo Romar usually locks up the Northwest, although Terrence Jones now starring at Kentucky, but Lorenzo's got a great group. We'll see him next week down in College Station against Texas A&M. And he's also got Tony Roden, one of the outstanding guards in the country.
Good look inside as they get Nelson for holding. That's his third. Team foul number 6 on UCLA, and that could be problematic as this half wears on.
Well, it's going to really help Kansas look inside in that high-low offense, because UCLA can't be as aggressive as they were early in the game.
Bill Self's team trying to make it 64 in a row at home, and UCLA has never won here at the Fox. Last year's meeting out in LA, and Kansas won 73-61. Pass intended for Robinson. It's knocked away. And Scott Thornley saying it'll be UCLA basketball. 9 turnovers now on Kansas. Tied here at 53 apiece.
Ben Howland's going to like a large part of this film a lot better when he watches in those 2 losses in New York.
Good hands, Morningstar. Now Robinson. And Morningstar drills that.
Thomas Robinson goes about 260, but everybody shares the wealth on this Kansas team. They move the basketball.
This one has been close throughout. Honeycutt at game high 20, and he loses the handle. Morningstar grabs it and calls timeout. Good hustle play by Brady Morningstar.
Tyshawn Taylor poked that ball loose as well, John.
Now ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Action continues Tuesday night from the Jimmy V Classic, presented by Corona Extra at Madison Square Garden. 7 Eastern, it's 15th ranked Memphis taking on these Jayhawks. And then 9 Eastern, Kalen Lucas at 6th ranked Michigan State going up against 7th ranked Syracuse. You got to look at Duke taking on Michigan State last night in Durham. What do you think of Kyrie Irving?
Well, I thought he was sensational. Everything we expected him. I got a chance. What I love about Kyrie Irving is that he was not highly recruited until his senior year. There's no sense of entitlement. His dad was a terrific player at Boston University, played in Australia. He doesn't have that sense of entitlement many of these incoming freshmen have. He's a worker.
See, second most by a freshman in Duke history. Only J.J. Redick with more in a game as a freshman. And Kansas will be getting help from a prize freshman, Josh Selby, suspended 9 games. He will make his debut December 18th against UCLA. Big 3 there as Marcus Morris steps outside and drills it.
Started off quietly tonight, but you can see the skill level, John. He's been one of the best players in college basketball in the first month of the season.
Well, you documented how good this offense is for Kansas. Oh, nice answer there by Zeke Jones. Good hands by UCLA. Bruins the other way. Malcolm Lee. They don't have numbers. Little out of control for Honeycutt. And now they'll set it up.
UCLA has weathered about 4 or 5 storms tonight, John. That's what you have to do on the road in a place like this.
Relaford to Little, and then Morris. And the basket will not count. Marcus Morris will go to the line.
Well, it's not just these 2 teams, John, but 2 experienced guys on the sideline. We're talking about Final Fours and a national championship. This is fun.
contrast of infinite black.
It's your Jimmy V week and a battle between two of the storied programs in the history of college basketball. And speaking of history, Kansas trying to make it 64 in a row at home. Longest active home winning streak in NCAA Division I basketball. Kansas leading this one by 3. But I'll tell you, the UCLA team has done a great job hanging in this game.
Well, they really have. They've scored the ball. In fact, if there's going to be something that Bill Self is going to take out of the film session tomorrow, it'll be the fact that they have not guarded as well as he would like.
How do they get Marcus Morris more involved in the offense?
You know, they just have to keep him on the floor, John, and run their stuff just like they always do, because they will find him the basketball. Early foul trouble took away his rhythm.
Taylor gets bumped for a moment. Nelson puts it on the floor at a swarming Jayhawks defense.
Tyshawn Taylor has become a bulldog. He's a pest.
Jones, a fadeaway, just scraped the rim. Little to Relaford, back to Little. Underneath, Robinson blocked by Lane. And they get the foul on Thomas Robinson.
Well, Brendan Lane, only a sophomore. Picked up 2 early fouls. Good ball movement, but watch him get up off his feet, get a piece of the ball. And another one of those young big guys. Nelson's a sophomore. Smith a freshman. Honeycutt, the Ware twins, sitting out right now. Josh Smith has the makings, John, of a very good front line in the next couple of years.
Honeycutt's been quiet and goes right to the rim with the left hand.
That's what I was talking about. Too much dribble penetration. 57 points in 30 minutes.
Little rattles that one on a nice floater.
UCLA, they do a great job of screening that play. Perfect execution.
Beautiful.
What happened was the defender went over the top of the screen and Honeycutt faded to the corner, and Nelson has a good feel for the game on that play.
Marquise Morris couldn't answer, and now Lane will settle it down. Tied at 60 apiece, under 10 to go. John Shelby, Fran Fraschilla here at Fog Allen Fieldhouse, UCLA and Kansas. The Jayhawks trying to run it to 64 in a row at home. Honeycutt, oh, he's feeling it.
Boy,
27.
John, this is exactly what Ben Howland needs. When you think of the great teams he's always had guys that you could go to. I mentioned Nelson is an energy guy, but Honeycutt is a finesse guy. Really good in set offense.
Robinson aggressively to the hoop. And he gets fouled. They get Brendan Lane. That's his 4th. Josh Smith about to come back in.
At the line for the Jayhawks, 0, Thomas Robinson.
So Lane started because they didn't want Josh Smith in early foul trouble.
This young guy, John Thomas Robinson, missed his free throw, but he has made a nice jump from his freshman year to his sophomore year. A year ago, he was a bull in a china shop, really didn't understand team concepts, just had a high energy level, and he kind of has that Darnell Jackson type frame, but much more efficient in their offense and a great third post player to complement the Morris twins.
Kansas aggressive on the boards, but Robinson can't hit either. Kansas has missed 7 consecutive free throws.
UCLA's half-court offense, in terms of their execution and screening, has been excellent.
Morning start. Stepped on the sideline. It'll be UCLA basketball.
We talked about TV timeout, and who did I say would get tight as the game goes on? The team that's supposed to win. Ben Helen has done a really nice job of controlling not so much the tempo of this game, but he's managed his team really well in terms of substitutions and execution.
There's been a bunch of great 4-minute games in this one.
They sure have.
Honeycutt's got the last 7 UCLA points, had it knocked away. Morning Star with Anderson all over him. Fans wanted a foul. February of 07, the last time the Jayhawks lost a home game. The NCAA active leader trying to make it 64 straight. Good feed for Smith, and he'll shoot 2. They get Morning Star with his 3rd.
Watch Tyler Lamb. He's a freshman from Modern Day High School. Well coached by Gary McKnight, teammate of the Ware twins. Hasn't shot the ball well this early part of the season, John, but he's got a great makeup. He's a defender and a great delivery to the young big guy.
Smith 11 points, but he has struggled from the stripe. Hits that. He's got 13 rebounds to go along with those dozen points now.
And the biggest factor in this game, there have been 2 big factors. Honeycutt's ability to keep them in it with his offense, and the way Ben Howland has utilized the big fella and kept him out of foul trouble.
How long does Honeycutt stay on the bench?
Probably it's a great move here, because what will happen is Ben Howland will use the TV timeout for 2 more minutes of rest. So he'll lose this 15 seconds, and then anything under the 8-minute mark, and you'll see Honeycutt come in, I would almost guarantee you, at the next timeout.
UCLA by 4, trying to put an end to Kansas's 63 home game win streak. Big shot by Tyshawn Taylor, and the Jayhawks within 2. Taylor with 10.
Oh, nice.
Marcus Morris rips away the rebound, and now Tyrell Reed will give it off to Taylor. They slow it down. Taylor again. The last 2 buckets, and it's 64 apiece.
If Kansas scores again, Ben Howland may have to burn one of the 2 timeouts. He cannot let Kansas get on a run. He's managed the game beautifully for 33 minutes.
Reeves Nelson, offensive foul. Nelson picks up his 4th. A great one here at the Fog. Fans are into it. Bill Self's team matched up with UCLA, and we're all even. It has been great here at the Fog, and UCLA really tonight, the story they've been riding a hot Tyler Honeycutt, a career-high 27. He's got a nice rest.
Well, good coaching. He missed a minute 16 of game time, and by my watch, he missed about 5. He got 5 minutes of rest. So although Kansas made that quick run, Ben Howland was able to rest his best player, and he should be fresh now down the stretch.
All right, so what does Bill Self want to see his team do offensively from here forward?
Well, UCLA is in foul trouble inside. Run your stuff, and oh, there's a set play. Good, they smelled it out. They tried to run a flare screen. It's something Bill Self likes to do, and UCLA smelled it out.
Jones to the rim, contested. Reed comes away with it, up to Taylor. Finger roll, and Kansas with the lead.
Everything now as they keep resetting is to try to get Honeycutt the basketball. Here comes that double screen again, John. They've been running it all night.
5 on the shot clock. Lee going to work on Morris. Contested. Air ball. Markieff Morris kicks it ahead. Here's Marcus. Timeout UCLA.
Well, John, it's usually your point guard. Unless you have a Kevin Love. But a good player who catches the ball and instinctively looks up the floor. We talked about unselfishness. Of course, these two guys, and they know each other so well. They know each other so well to the point that when I talked to the Kansas staff today about Marcus Morris coming out because he'd be a first-round pick, maybe a lottery pick, he said, the coaching staff said, we're not sure he wants to leave his brother behind. Tells you something about how close they are.
Kansas leading by 4 in those little mini 4-point segments you talked about have really told an interesting story.
Well, they have, because it's been a game of runs, John. But I'd have to tell you, if you told Ben Howland that with 5:49 in this game, you'd only be down 4, he would take it. The problem right now is the momentum is on Kansas's side. So patience and execution for UCLA this next possession is critical.
Reeves Nelson foul trouble for UCLA as he sets the screen. He's got 4. He cuts to the rim. Nice look to Smith.
Boy, terrific look. Nelson's been doing that all night. Honeycutt gets the hockey assist. And the big freshman, Johnny on the spot.
Good seal off there. Marcus Morris, 13.
You don't want to blame Honeycutt because he's been brilliant. But he's winded right now, and he didn't put the pressure on the passer. And it made for a very easy look over the top by Kansas's best post passer, Brady Morningstar.
Honeycutt. Taylor kicks. And it'll stay with Kansas. 4:40 to go in this one. The Jayhawks riding a 63-game home win streak, longest in the nation.
Remember, Kansas has scored on these inbounds plays. It's an inexperienced UCLA team.
Markieff Morris, and they say offensive foul. Use the arm for the hook. Tommy O'Neal on the call, and that's 4 on Markieff.
You talk about the maturation of, look at that, of the young guy, Josh Smith, who's been foul prone all season. That time he just moved his feet, held his ground, and because of his size, Markieff Morris trying a little trickeration right there.
So 4 on Markieff, 16 fouls on Kansas, 19 fouls on UCLA. And he traveled. 17 turnover on the Bruins.
Anderson got himself in too deep. He's been very solid tonight, very up and down. Heard the wrath of UCLA fans for 2.5 years, but he's done a pretty good job tonight of orchestrating this offense when Jones has not been in there.
Under 4 minutes to go here at 5-gallon Fieldhouse. Marcus Morris short on that shot. Offensive rebound. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Kansas up by 4. The Jayhawks haven't lost at home since February 3rd, 2007.
Not the case in our game. We got a good one. Back to Kansas.
4-point game here at Allen Fieldhouse. And Markieff Morris with 4 fouls. His brother Marcus going to the line. Free throw's been a problem, Frank. Kansas 1 for 8.5 from the stripe, and they missed their last 7 in a row.
You mentioned they shoot 67% as a team coming in. But certainly with all the things they've done so well offensively, this is not their strength.
Struggles continue for the Jayhawks at the line. 5-point game. Coming up on the 3:30 mark. Kansas has won 63 in a row at home.
Well, they smelled out a little screen across inside. Good scouting report defense by Kansas. See, Kansas doesn't have a breakdown guard. Excuse me, UCLA. There's no Farmar, there's no Drew Holiday, Russell Westbrook, Collison.
So Kansas by 5 at the top of the broadcast. You talked about unselfish plays being key to good offense.
John, the 3 most unselfish plays in basketball, you heard me talk about it. Swinging the ball. You don't want ball stoppers. Watch how quickly this ball moves. The finish on the other side. Screening to get a teammate open. Another one of my most unselfish plays in basketball. There's a screen freeze. Mario Little, and of course, looking ahead in transition. And you see how Kansas ignites their break when your guards have their head up. It's been that way all season for Kansas as they lead the country in assists, averaging 22 a game.
Kansas with 16 assists on the 27 field goals, as we talked about. But UCLA has really hung around. You got to give credit to Ben Howland's team. You come into an atmosphere like this, and the fans, even when UCLA was up, they're just looking for a reason to get into this game. And yet this young UCLA team has showed a lot of fortitude. Now ESPN, the home court of college hoops, Saturday afternoon at 3:15 Eastern. A reminder that you can catch a rematch of last year's national championship game. Butler will go up against #1 Duke, and then 5:15 Eastern, 21st ranked Illinois taking on number 24 Gonzaga, the battle in Seattle.
You know Ben Howland's team has played well when he burns his last time out with 3 minutes to go in the game, because he is a guy that will utilize his timeouts early and often if the game is getting away from them. So he feels good about this team.
Taylor lays it in. 16 for Tyshawn Taylor. He's been huge in the second half. Taylor with 10 of his 16 since the break. UCLA has never won here at Allen Fieldhouse. Good defense, but UCLA regains. Honeycutt spins it home and one. What a game for Tyler Honeycutt.
That was a loose ball. Kansas's defense a little bit discombobulated, and Honeycutt snuck behind the defense, and a good find by Malcolm Lee.
And that last foul on Markieff Morris, his 5th. He is done for the night. Finishes with 9 points and 5 rebounds.
You know, when you don't have a great point guard, John, and to take nothing away from Zeke Jones and Jeremy Anderson, who've been solid tonight, you like what Honeycutt's doing, and you like the inside guys, Nelson and Smith. When you don't have a guy like a Sharon Collins, a Kyrie Irving, there's so many good ones, the coach has to become the point guard from the sideline. And that takes a lot out of you, because every set you run has to be executed perfectly. Because I mentioned earlier, and I want to really hone in on this. Chuck Daly said, what will a player do when the play breaks down? Because the play will break down. When you have a breakdown point guard, it makes your offense look that much better.
30 points now for Tyler Honeycutt. By the way, that's the 5th and 1 play for UCLA in this game. 4-point advantage for the Jayhawks. Morningstar feeds inside. Marcus Morris is fouled, and he'll go to the line. If that's Lane, he's done. Marcus Morris been much better in the second half, especially near the bucket.
Well, he's so versatile, John. He really hurts you so many different ways. He's an excellent passer. And the only thing I think that he probably doesn't do as well as his brother is his brother understands Marcus is the go-to offensive player. Markieff does a lot of the dirty work on the backboards, almost a double-double guy.
So Markieff Morris is fouled out. Brendan Lane is fouled out for the Bruins.
Well, for UCLA to win this game now, every set play, Ben Howland, they're going to have 4 or 5 more possessions in this game. And every set play has to be executed perfectly. And that puts a lot of pressure on your offense because they don't have that breakdown guard.
Marcus Morris with 13 since the break. Kansas leading it by 6.
Well, they double Josh Smith. Doesn't have the experience right now. He'll get better at that.
Eight on the shot clock. Jones hanging and hitting. What a great move, Lazarick Jones.
What will he do when the play breaks down? Great play by Jones.
Point blank, Little couldn't hit. Blocked by Honeycutt. Missed again. Smith the rebound. Huge steal. Brady Morningstar out of nowhere, and he picked Reeve Nelson's pocket.
That's because the point guard had tunnel vision and didn't see the whole floor, and Morningstar sneaking from behind. But that's a fifth-year senior.
And they say offensive foul on Marcus Morris. No basket. And on Morris, that is his 3rd. Under a minute to go at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas by 4. The Jayhawks trying to run it to 64 in a row at home.
Kansas will run their set. And if it doesn't work, someone is going to have to break the defense down. Look at that.
Big fella down low, Josh Smith with 17.
Now, you may have to foul here, John, because there's only a 3-second differential. And Ben Howland does not have a timeout to set up a last-second play, and there's the foul.
UCLA foul number 11 is Zach Jones.
Zeke Jones charged with the foul, his 4th. Tyshawn Taylor will go to the line to shoot 2.
At the line for the Jayhawks, number 10.
Well, 12 of 16 coming into tonight on the season. I think if they make this free throw, Bill Self should call a timeout and set his defense up. Beat me to it.
Kansas now 13 for 27 from the free throw line, and that has just been a huge part of the story. Bill Self's team leading it by 2, and Taylor is going to shoot a free throw. But credit to UCLA for doing such a good job. Ben Howland's team hanging around and hanging around, running good offense, getting stops when they needed stops. And Coach Fran, you got the grease board out.
Well, this is a play they've been running all night. They run some false motion, and here's Honeycutt. Reeves with the ball, and they've set a staggered double screen for him all night long. And then Nelson will make this pass. What started to happen is that Morningstar is staying really attached and not allowing Honeycutt to catch and shoot. So after they run a set play, if it doesn't work, you're going to have to get the ball to somebody Maybe it's Honeycutt, maybe inside, maybe Jones, and break the defense down.
Well, Smith and Honeycutt have been outstanding the entire game. Let's see if Taylor can knock this one down.
Now, John, remember, if you're UCLA, you do not have to shoot the three. The easy percentage play here is to get a quick two unless it's a wide open three.
Jones, and they get the foul on the floor. It'll be team foul number 9, so 1 and 1.
See, I like that. Try to get the two. You stop. You stop the clock. You allow yourself to set up the defense.
Possession arrow belongs to Kansas. Jones 8 for 8 from the free throw line coming in, and 2 for 2 tonight. And his first miss of the year is huge. And possession arrow goes to Kansas.
Well, now if you're UCLA, you must set up your press. You must trap and steal and then foul. Now remember, Jones has 4. So he's the only UCLA player on the floor right now with 4 fouls. It would be advisable to try to keep him in the game and not foul.
Oh, Honeycutt collects it.
Now you have to shoot the 3.
Honeycutt for the tie. Got it!
Wow!
At the buzzer. And did they get a foul? They got a foul at the buzzer.
They're going to go to the monitor to determine whether the foul took place after the horn went off. And remember, it's not the horn, but it's the clock, the light, and then the horn. If this foul occurs after there's triple zeros, we'll go to overtime.
Scott Thornley on the left. Doug Sermon's on the right, and now Tommy O'Neill on the far left. Let's take a look.
Here it comes. The ball is stripped. Now it's loose. Well, I think it's before the triple zeros, John. Now let's take a look if there was a foul, because the first thing you got to see is whether it beat the clock. You know, John, it's a foul. I mean, you hate to say it, you hate to have a game end like this, but in my mind, it's a foul, and a foul is a foul in the first minute or the last few seconds. Good officiating.
Tyler Honeycutt at the other end. What a huge 3. What a great night.
Well, he rose up from NBA range. They didn't want to foul him. And boy, has he been terrific. And here's the play, John. The foul occurs before the clock hits triple zeros. And then the reach in.
It'll be Mario Little at the line. The senior out of Chicago, who is 7 for 10 from the stripe, including tonight, where he's 2 for 2.
Well, he's not going to have the pressure of a 1-and-1. He'll shoot 2. But if you're Kansas now, particularly on the second free throw, you do not want to foul. If I were Bill Self, I would take my players off the line right now. I would not leave Morris and Morningstar on the line.
Do you miss on purpose?
That's funny. We had this conversation today in the office because of a play that happened last night in the Virginia Tech game when Virginia Tech could have gone up 4 if the guy only makes the free throw. But yes, UCLA has no timeouts. You have to miss, but you have to make sure that you hit the rim when you miss.
Again, down 3 and Honeycutt from deep to tie.
Well,
One more look.
Yep, this is tough, but it certainly looks like there was a foul. Well, his team has played their hearts out tonight. Now, here's the strategy, John. It behooves you to miss the free throw because if you go up to UCLA can throw it length of the floor, okay? So if you miss it, there's going to be very little time to catch it and throw it the length of the floor. But Mario Little must hit the rim on the miss.
They're about to check Jeff Withey into the game. I'm assuming
that might mean that they're going to make it.
To have him go on the ball.
I wouldn't make this because it's going to have to be a three-point shot. So being up 1 or 2 doesn't matter. There's the miss.
And the streak lives on here at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. 64 in a row in the most unlikely way. Bill Self's team